Adjusted here. Welcome back to Transformative Tarot. It's always a pleasure to connect with kindred spirits and like minds and yada yada yada. So today we're going to look at the major arcana part of the deck of Fancy's deck, and we're going to start with the Fool today. The Fool. The journey always starts with the dog. The dog. You'll also see this archetype in the Joker card from the Destiny card deck, but that has a couple of different meanings. And today, our partner up is my man Tharn of the Decepticons, who is a he's an OG. He's one of those people who speak about commitment. His commitment to the cause is so great that he put a Decepticon logo over his original face. And he doesn't play about nothing or nobody. Both sides of the coin. What's going on? What's going on? So the big thing about him, the word that always comes with my man Tharn is commitment. Commitment to the journey ahead, the Fool. So this deck is not just about spirituality in some vague sense. This is really about the times that we live in and are moving towards. So it has the energy to carry us forward. Trust and believe, right? So here, this is the part of the story of Fancy's story that I've wrote, where she has just crossed over realms into the human realm to find her father or find answers to what she thinks is a problem. And that's how things usually kind of start as the Fool. You kind of, it's twofold. Some it's just like taking a blind leap, doing something new, of course, something that is going to help your soul grow and develop, take you on a journey back home, right? And it's a it's a wonderful archetype to have, but you also have to remember that this card has a lot to do with the release. This is after the release. This is stepping through the doorway of fear and our doubts about ourselves and what we're capable of. And in this picture, this is the first of this is actually the picture that precedes issue 1, where she is actually going into this place I labeled Pine Box Ridge. Pine Box Ridge. It's one of those last human places during her time, because this takes place in the age of a Capricorn, which is about 2,000 years away. So don't hold your breath, my nigga. You know what I mean? But this is like the remnants of what we're facing now. And it's a part of her initiation through her father's bloodline. So she's following her intuition, which is symbolized by the dog. Now, the dog you will also find in the Destiny card system as Oak, OC. She is the fairy looking one out of the deck, but she also has a dog, which is about love and loyalty. So having these archetypes present gives us clues as to how the journey is unfolding and what the tools are that are necessary. And along the way, it's just like playing The Legend of Zelda. You start at level 1, but then you find the shield and the wooden sword and all that shit. And you just keep going up levels as you discover more about not only the journey, but it's really about yourself. These tools are just the manifestation of the inward technology. Let's put it that way. The Age of Aquarius, people talk about the technology. Well, we're not talking about gizmos, wires, and electricity. We're talking about that divine technology which links us. Let's just say, I don't want to say links us because we're already linked, but that connection, the awareness of that connection that we have with everything in existence. You know what I mean? It's the whole drop of water or the cup of water out of the ocean kind of ideology. So let's take a closer look because, I found a print. I forgot I had a print of this. So we get to see the fine details. And in this one, the dog, whose name is Rhythm, which was real. This is a real dog. This is a real dog. I had this dog when I was in Atlanta, with the little curly tail, but flicking the fleas, getting out all the doubts, getting away all the pesky energy is the symbolism of him scratching here, behind the ear. So even that, being wet behind the ears is another symbolism coming through with the dog at this time. You know what I mean? Being new to something and being the student again. So regardless if you're taking this journey for the first time or you're going through another cycle, you're still going to have to start, pass and go and maybe not collecting 200. You feel what I'm saying? But regardless of which, you're here to learn something new. And the Fool is a very light-hearted card. This is when really you released just about everything in your bag except all that is necessary for the journey ahead. You know what I mean? And trusting that you will be provided for along the way, because you might have only a day's ration, or you know what I'm saying, so much of a certain necessity with you, and trusting that along the way you will find not only those necessities, but you will gain more than you had when you started out. So the Fool card is very much here to remind us that you know the leap of faith that is necessary. And this is the this is the clay representation of rhythm right here. So here's the dog. Here you go, Andre. There's your dog, made out of clay. I gotta paint him over again. That's why he looks like that. But the leap of faith, and that is the reason for the canyon between the two worlds, so to speak. The world that we're used to and the world that we're jumping into, the unknown. It's got dark clouds back here, all this purple. It could rain at any moment, whereas the rest of the world around it seems to be thriving. But this place right here has a shadow aspect to it, and it's very much about diving into one's shadow as well. Being in the Fool, you're going to have to deal with all of yourself, and you're going to find reflections and you're going to find projections when you make this leap of faith right here. And it's quite interesting how the leap of faith artistically came through. I'm not going to spoil that surprise at all, but the leap of faith, even with those little wings of hers, is still not enough to really get across the chasm. So in the beginning, it's always that first step that we kind of struggle with. How am I going to make it to the other side? Well, this is the part where the mustard seed or the trust comes in, because it's not so much about how, it's just about taking the leap and knowing that you're on your path, you're on the correct path, and you will be guided and supported the whole way. You understand what I'm saying? So that is pretty much the breakdown of the Fool on this tip and how it relates in this deck. And as you can see, she's got her father's crystal around her neck, and she carries a sword, a little makeshift sword that she kind of hijacked along the way. And she is floating in this realm, but this is showing also coming from a higher realm, as this part of the cliff, into a lower realm because of the elevation of things. There's a lot in this card that you could take away as a reader, or just as if you're reading for yourself or others. But these are just some of the different avenues that you could explore with this card. There's so much more that I'm sure your own intuition and awareness can keen in on, especially during a reading, as it's part of a story for whoever you're reading for at this time. All right. And it's just really what's going on? What's going on? Welcome on in. Good to see everybody. It's oh my god, I got two people in the room. Holy shit, right? The Fool. Um, what else was I gonna say about this? There was a little bit more on the but if you have any questions, you could please put them in the comment section, or while we're on the live, or anything that speaks to you about this card at this time, because it's the symbolism of this during this time, this present moment, is that the North Node, which is the head of the dragon, which is right there, by the way, that's K2, the head of the dragon, is all about the Fool's journey, and it is in Aries, which is the first card or the first archetype of the zodiac anyway. So as a collective, we are now on a new journey. Collectively, we are setting new intentions. Collectively, we're doing it all together. Whether you think you're doing it by yourself or not is not even the fucking case at this time. So when we're talking about anything astrology in a specific sign, we have to look towards the opposite sign of Libra, which would be Libra in this case, which is balancing the scales. So this has a lot to do with what's going on now. Libra being the South Node is things that we have already done. We have already taken the steps to become whole beings, masculine and feminine inside of ourselves. And this is what allows this moment to happen anyway. You know what I'm saying? This is what allows the opportunity to cross over, so to speak, or take on a new adventure. And how that plays out, well, it's all about the narrative. Our affirmations, the way we carry ourselves, how do we show up in this world? Well, there's going to be plenty of experience down here in Pine Box Ridge. If you haven't read the first couple of issues, it gets wild in Pine Box Ridge. You know what I mean? And Pine Box Ridge is named that way by the people because of the amount of death that goes on here. This is really a gangster's kind of paradise where all cultures and all religions and ways of life are, kind of bundled up into one little area. And what makes this area so high value is the mines that are underneath of it. And this is where we get the dynamics that we're facing in the world today of major corporations and how they work together secretly but seemingly being at opposition. The coal miners versus the steam carriers, as far as like it would be like the electric company versus the gas company kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying? Or Burger King versus McDonald's, but how it's all a part of one big machine that the fool, we never know just how jeez, I got all this paint, this shit under my nails and everything. Anyway, our purpose for taking this journey in the first place, and what our presence in a place such as this will have, the effect, the ripple effect. It may not seem like it on the surface. So there's a lot about the journey that is meant to be learned, especially when it comes to dealing with one's own inner power and ability to influence the world around him or her. Okay? So yeah. Anybody got any questions while we on the live right now? Or maybe is there a card that you have been seeing that you haven't seen on the lives yet that you would like to talk about? Like I said, we could do it now, or we can I'll make another video separately, of course. But I really want to get these out. You know what I mean? I want to get all this off of my oh, we got one in the room. The White Wizard. Okay, well, I'm looking through the deck right now. Let me pull the White Wizard out. And, I'm not even going to stop this thing. I ain't going to do all that editing. We're just going to hop in with it. So before I even get started with the card, as far as the visual, the White Wizard is the year in the Mayan calendar, according to the Mayan calendar that we are in. The White Wizard has been coming up so much lately. It's ridiculous. This is the archetype of shamans, of priests, of this is the person you go to get married, the justice of the peace, but very much about the ritualistic ceremony that's going on. The White Wizard is very closely, intrinsically, if I can use my big words today, tied in with the natural world, i.e., this would be like the hermit coming out of hermit mode. You know what I'm saying? Because the hermit also has those kind of insights, but this is a little bit more of a focused effort here. The White Wizard speaks to nature, knows the language of the animals and the plants, knows the healing herbs. This could be a lot of if you're picking up a reed, such as like this would be great for you, Andrea, because of the conversation we had about the lineage, passing down, the potions and the herbs and the things that they are used for. You know what I mean? So let's look at the key words: enchanting, receptivity, the output, and timelessness. Timelessness. Have you been feeling like time just does not feel the same? Have you been feeling like the days are just either flying or going slow, or it just doesn't feel like 6 p.m. anymore, or goddamn, it's Sunday again? You know that kind of feeling? That's the timelessness that you're feeling right now. Where what we've been conditioned to believe is time is really just a construct of control. That's how establish the walls in the prison, so to speak. It's the prison without walls. But with timelessness here, we are experiencing not only our present moment, but we're also experiencing a lot of past life shit going on. It's showing up in very subtle ways. Whether this is to be released or just, being in New Orleans is part of this for me personally because I've been here before. So my thing is, the question I've asked is why does the soul return to a place that it's been to in a previous life? Well, it's either to close a cycle or complete something, maybe, or perhaps it's to gain like to rediscover one's inheritance. Maybe I left something here for myself in a previous life that I can reclaim. You know what I'm saying? So that timelessness speaks to, past, present, and future being in one place. This is very much a magician kind of card as well. But as you can see by the top of her staff, she has the crystals and the crystals around her wrist right here. Uh, Very much about that earth, that element, you know what I'm saying, of speaking through crystals. When I think of crystals, I think of you remember the first run of Superman with Christopher Reeves. I'm talking about the live action movies or just Superman in general. When he came from Krypton, they gave him those crystals that he made his home out of and was able to speak with his father through those recordings on those crystals. That is pretty much how that shit works. You know what I mean? In a lot of aspects when dealing with crystals, they are very much conscious beings that you connect with, learn from, and also derive their properties as your own. We're talking about taking on attributes. You know what I'm saying? The beautifully uh, spotted coat of the jaguar is meant to protect and camouflage one's presence. This could be disguising your energy in times of danger. You know what I'm saying? Um, Cloaking yourself. Because we're in a funky world where, like I like to call them the corner store witches and warlocks, they out here doing petty shit with the arts that have nothing to do with spirituality at all on a higher octave. If a motherfucker don't like you burning the candle, it's not going to make that better because you want it authentically. You don't want to be forcing shit. So the way you use this magic is very important. And I mean that by the intentions. And it's really a great day for all this, these two cards to come together because, oh, you done disappeared that fast too? These cards, boy, they be having a mind. They be in the bed. They be jumping on the sofas and all kinds of shit around here, man. Trying to keep up with these motherfuckers. But yeah, this is about setting intentions when we talk about the Fool card on top of it. You know what I mean? Dealing with that Aries energy again, or that beginning stage. Why am I jumping here? What is the intention for me even taking this journey? But when we're dealing with the White Wizard, what are my intentions for what I've learned? You understand? What are the intentions I have set forth for myself? You know? And, you know, this is not something you really want to meet person, a jaguar. I mean, they kill, what are those things? Those crocodiles, the calamari, not calamari, the caimans. They take down caimans. They jump in the water and they go after the caimans, the crocodiles, which is another symbol of the shadow or the power, saying from ancient Egypt with Sobek. So these are some skilled hunters, you know what I'm saying? Very highly tuned in senses, even the ability to see in the dark. and if you're doing shadow work, you might want to be able to see in the dark, you know what I mean, or at least be able to navigate those those realms. So the White Wizard is very much like a Merlin energy, or a Gandalf kind of energy. You know, this is the White Witch of the North kind of energy. You know what I mean? So whether this is somebody that shows up in your environment to help teach, yes, very much about moving in silence, because this is about the sacredness of things. When we get to the camouflage and why it's so important to have things concealed as far as the energy, you know what I'm saying? You don't want anybody to have a say so in your manifestations as well. You know what I'm talking about? That's like saying, yo, I'm gonna go out here and get this job, and you didn't talk to somebody who really don't have the best in mind for you. They just by their thoughts alone can put blockages up there, and that's because of running your mouth kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? So yes, of course, moving in silence is absolutely an archetype you can pull out of this, depending on what else is surrounding it as far as the other cards at this time. So, for example, let's say with the blue hand, this might be saying the things that I do with my hand, I should be keeping secret. You know what I mean? Maybe it's even coming into knowledge about mudras that have certain effects. Um, so martial arts, we learn pressure points throughout the body, and of course, they are activated by the use mostly of the fingers and the hands. But that information in the wrong hands causes a lot of you become accountable for the student. That's that whole thing of like the five deadly venoms, when the master sends his pupil out to see if his other pupils have been, living a righteous life, and if they're not, he's ordered to take them out because what they know could harm a whole lot of people. So the secretness, the sacredness of acquiring this kind of organic information and knowledge has profound abilities to heal and manifest and make things happen. But like I said, we got a lot of these corner store witches and warlocks out here. So could you imagine something as grandiose as the science of erecting a pyramid? You know what I mean? The geometry behind it, the way to go about it in the hands of the wrong people, kind of energy. You could really just make more trouble for yourself than was there before. So yes, there is a mindfulness. Now that's where the output comes in, because the output is the actual manifestation. You understand? This is when things get to popping and moving around. Okay. The receptivity part is just that. It's your ability to read the environment, to read people, to receive messages and downloads. So again, silence is key here with this archetype. You know what I mean? And the enchanting, that has it depends on what enchantment is for you at this time. What is it to be an enchanting individual? That's about like maybe even having a bit of mystery about you. Again, that silence, nobody really knows, and cloaking yourself makes others not able to be receptive of what's going on. So it's kind of like a really a playful place to be, in your inner child energy, as far as how you can use this, because these are just formulas for what's inside anyway. So how you take it to the lab and what you're using it for makes all the difference. So your intentions, you know what I mean, are everything. But to enchant somebody, you know what I mean, this is like believing in magic again. We're in a time where it's just now accepted, because you can get a certificate for Reiki, wherein before everybody would have thought you were crazy. You're not putting your hands on me. What the hell is this symbol kind of shit? You know what I mean? A little bit too much religion up in the pot kind of thing, the dogma, or, even with voodoo and things of that nature. The mystery surrounding it is not as convoluted. You understand what I'm saying? It's not as convoluted, but regardless of which, anybody that is there to bear witness to it will have that feeling of being enchanted, casting a spell. Like the way you speak, the way you say a certain thing to somebody can really change your frequency. You can really enchant people. You know what I mean? again, the wizard energy, and that white is speaking of that purity of heart, you know. So this is the other reason why the archetype is kind of hidden in the leaves, so to speak, you know, surrounded by those things. The way she's coming up is real low key vibe. Yes, that's exactly, yes. See, so this is part of the enchanting and the receptivity, because we both had that same kind of hit at the same time, dealing with the similar archetype. So thank you very much for you know, we just really confirmed a lot of the energy that this card holds at this time for us. You know what I mean? And how the imagery is important. So the things that you surround yourself with, as well as the things you put in to yourself, what's going to come out, the output. You know what I mean? That's that whole garbage in, garbage out. But again, thanks to my man Tarn, he kind of jumped out the thing today. I wasn't even planning on putting any of the Transformers out, but as you can see, they've been just popping off the shelves all by them goddamn selves. I had to brush them off and clean them, but I got the whole Decepticon squad sitting out here today. You know what I'm saying? Just ready for it. You know what I mean? But that's the mythology. You know what I mean? That's just the mythology and how it speaks. Let's deck Phoenix again. Let me talk to you soon. Appreciate you coming through. Just keeping, you know, anytime you got a card or anything like that, and we haven't talked about it, come on through. We're gonna talk about it if I haven't already talked about it. So that's the well, must be a lot of Uranus energy in the air today, because I was only gonna do the Fool, but today we got to really dive in a little bit with the White Wizard and also the Fool from Fancy's deck. So it's been a pleasure. I am Phoenix Nebula. If you would like personal readings, you can contact me at phoenix.nebula.9 on IG. We can go through a whole lot of things, personal commissions as well, artwork, and of course the deck is still available. I still got a lot of hot stuff to put in these packages along with it. Supplies are limited, and like anybody who already purchased the deck will let you know, you get a lot more than just some cards. All right. So until the next time, which will might be like 10 minutes from now, I feel like kind of going through the cards today. Um, Take care of yourselves, and remember, it's about the commitment. It's about the commitment to the journey, the commitment to self, and you know, this is like the service that you will provide, being committed to your craft kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? Because again, witchcraft. Feel me? So to find all the little keywords you can, study the cards, and then put them in stories, and you really can't go wrong. You know what I mean? All right, good people. Well, enjoy your Monday, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.